Saturday, 26th of June 2010. Sharks, Cowboys, Townsville, Dairy Farmers. Bottom of the table clash. This is not a game of one particular moment. It's one that needs to be seen to be believed. Welcome to another episode of Classic Cronulla Chronicles. Cronulla Sharks fan podcast. Let's just talk into the football. Bear with me tonight. A bit of a more hushed tone as I record this at a bizarre hour whilst away for work. So sorry about the visuals being a bit underdone here, but we'll go back to a classic match involving the team playing this year in the round 2 of the 2025 season. Cowboys away. We'll go back to 2010 when neither team was particularly going very well. But this one was quite the entertaining match, that's for sure. So Cowboys versus Sharks, this time at the new Townsville or newish Townsville Stadium. Back in 10, we played at Dairy Farmers. Going into this one, Sharks were sitting 14th. Bit of a mid-season flurry. They'd gone down to the Dragons 22-4 at home, had a bye, smashed the Roosters at the City Football Stadium, that one involving the Nathan Gardner length of field try. Had a loss to the Broncos and a win over the Eels, which we covered last year, I believe. Whilst the Cowboys sitting in 15th, pretty good team on paper. They were underperforming, while the Sharks were hot on the heels of the 2009 season, which we all know was dreadful. They lost to the Storm, beat the Raiders, lost to Souths, lost to Manly, and had a bye. So a bit of mixed form. Bottom of the table clash. We'll have a look at the sides, looking at the Cowboys. And you can see number one, the unfamiliar Shannon Gallant, the wingers Ashley Graham and John Williams, the centres Ben Harris, Willie Tonga. The halves, Matt Bowen in the unfamiliar position of 5'8" with Jonathan Thurston, the halfback and captain. The front row, Matt Scott, Aaron Payne, the newly signed Willie Mason in his debut for the Cowboys. The back row of Scott Bolton, Leeson Armour and Dane Hogan. And the bench of James Tarmow, Carl Webb, Arana Taumata and Grant Ravelli, the coach Neil Henry. Whilst for the Sharks, a back three of Nathan Gardner, Blake Ferguson and Isaac Gordon. The centres, Dean Collis, Ben Pomeroy. The halves, Trent Barrett as captain as well, and Tim Smith. Front row, number 14, Adam Cutletson coming off the bench. John Morris, the hooker, Luke Douglas, the other prop. And the back row, Grant Millington, Broderick Wright and Paul Gallen. Bench, Josh Cordova, Anthony Tupou, Paul Aton, and Talima Tautai, the coach, Ricky Stewart. Hooking straight to this one, the newly signed Willie Mason scored straight off the bat. There was a bit of instruction almost by the referee there that the Seas just parted, got an offload and ran straight up the middle, score around the post to give the Cowboys nearly 6-0 lead. Sharks butchered a few opportunities early on. Both teams did actually. And then Matt Scott scored to make it 12-0. The Sharks put some more tries. So did the Cowboys. Carl Webb dropping the ball over the line. And then he scored right on halftime, taking full advantage of his second opportunity to give the Cows an 18-0 halftime lead. And it was looking like it was all over for the Sharks. But Pomeroy taking advantage of Willie Tonga error, ran 40 metres in the 44th minute to score to read back to 18-6. And then Isaac Gordon scored out wide on the left to bring back to 18-10 early in the second half. So 10 minutes in, we're back within 8. More tries, another flurry down the left with some good play of hands between Anthony Tupou and Ben Pomeroy. Put Gardner in the 54th. It stayed pretty tight for a period there. Then Paul Aton burrowed over from dummy half, not far off the about halfway between the post and the sideline to bring it back to 18-all. And Nathan Gardner, unfortunately, if I go back to a previous image from that bottom image, you can see there, shanks at it. He starts off to the left and it curves. His left foot kick curves to the right and missed the goal completely to leave it 18-all when the Sharks had an opportunity to take the lead with 10 to go. From there, field goal, a Thon, Trent Barrett with 2 misses. Jonathan Thurston then popped one over in the 77th. And then with about 20 seconds left on the clock, John Morris slotted a field goal to make it 19-all and go to extra time. Then, about a few minutes into the second half, there was a miss by Barrett. And then back downfield, there was a more than one person to tackle strip, about 35 out, Thurston right in front. Looked like he was going to bury the game with a penalty goal. Misses. He hooked it in his trademark hooking style before Barrett nailed a field goal. It wasn't a pretty one, and he made a career out of not kicking pretty field goals. to win it for the Sharks in the 87th minute. Rolling into the talking points, we've had a few comebacks from 18-0 in our time. One of them most recently against Canberra last year was prompted a bit of a flurry of looking at big comebacks. So this one we came back from 18 points, which was a record at the time. Prior to that was the famous 2002 match against the Northern Eagles at Brookvale. Came back from 18-0 down to score over 40 points in the second half. This one against Parramatta in 2016 during the, dare I say it, streak. Came back from 18 points there too. So came back from 18-0 down in this one in front of a hostile crowd in Townsville. So it was a good achievement there for what was, we can agree, not the best side on paper. Looking at the field goals, so Johnny Morris kicking what I believe was his only field goal for the Sharks. We'll have a quick look at his stats. Trent Barrett did kick a field goal, a few for us, but looking at Morris there, an unlikely field goal kicker there. Unfortunately, can't bring his stats up, but Trent Barrett, we do know, kicked an ugly one against Parramatta in 2009 and kicked that one there too. While Thurston, he made a career out of kicking plenty, and he missed a few there too. It wasn't exactly a windy night, just seemed to be one of those nights where no one was connecting with it. A few shots from a long way out too, including Matt Bowen with one from about 38 metres out that just missed. Had the length, but just went wide. John Williams, he's an interesting one. So he had the shocker, dropped a few bombs, turned over possession during Golden Point, which gave the Sharks the opportunity to win the match by dropping a downfield kick. And then we promptly signed him. I didn't mind him as the brother of the Wolfman, started off in the Parramatta district, played for them first, played for us in the end from 2011 to 2012, 32 matches, 12 tries, 27 goals from 35 attempts for a 77.14% kick percentage and a 34.38 win percentage. So not great, but solid and dependable on the wing was John Williams, and he finished his career with us there before he moved to the UK. Actually, based on Rugby League Project, that was the end of his career, but not a bad little innings and a bit of trivia there that after this one, I think we announced it shortly afterwards that we'd signed him. I remember at the time I was thinking, oh, he didn't play that well on the weekend, but I thought he did a good job for us. He had an overall career of playing 104 matches with 45 tries and 75 goals, so a good performance there. Carl Webb, one of the players that I both feared, the late great Carl Webb, unfortunately passing away December 2023 from motor neuron disease, but an absolute weapon. And I did have that belief that he always played well against us, and I looked up his stats, and he scored quite a number of tries, but the most he scored against any one particular club was us with 6 from 15 appearances. And in total, he scored playing for Brisbane, the Cowboys, and Parramatta over a career that spanned from 2000 to 2011. He played 187 matches with 37 tries, 6 of them against the Sharks. So a bit of a record there. He scored again here, almost had another where it was not knocked out in the act of scoring. Whilst we move on to the 2010 side, there's Tim Smith there that we signed. 09 was horrid. 2010 was a little bit of a movement in the right direction. There was this mid-season kind of flurry that we had where we got the win over the Roosters. We got this win and a few other matches where we thought, okay, here we go. We might be not making the finals, but moving up onwards and upwards. But as we go forward to the fallout, and you'll see here the Sharks finished in 14th, exactly where they started going into this round. 7 wins, 17 losses, while the Cowboys finished 15th, only 5 wins and 19 losses. But the fallout, an unusual scorecard in that we had Paul Aton, Nathan Gardner, Isaac Gordon, Ben Pomeroy scoring the tries, Gardner kicking only 1 from 3, Tim Smith kicking none from 1, Trent Barrett and John Morris the field goals were for the Cowboys. All front rowers scoring in the first half with Willie Mason, Matt Scott and Carl Webb the tries. Jonathan Thurston 3 from 4 and the field goal. So it was an interesting one. The highlights are readily available, so we encourage you to go look at the NRL website. Full match replay too of this one. I wouldn't say it was the best game of all time, but it was nothing if not entertaining, especially the mayhem at the last 10 minutes and extra time too. So hopefully we do it a bit more comfortably this week in 2025. And up, go Sharks.